This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Colorado, we've got to talk about the next opponents. We continue our series of who the Buffs are going to play and what that means. So we're going to dive into Arizona, which is the next game on the calendar. So let's take a look at it. This video here is sponsored by our partners over there at BetUS. Check them out in the link in the description below. They're giving 125% on the first three deposits up to $2,000. That way you can get in that action and definitely bet on your Buffs. So check them out. We appreciate them hooking up the channel. So now we've got this next game. We've been going through all of them. Finished up Kansas State. Now we're at Arizona. I know, right? It's going to be some fun. This is one of those road games, the second road game, and this one isn't that far. So, I mean, we know Arizona. We played Arizona last season. And, yeah, Noah Fafita was, you know, a thorn in the side of the squad. So, yeah. Unfortunately, he's still there, right? Him and T-Mac. So, but they've got a new coach. So things have changed over there. You got Brennan, who came in, former head coach of at San Diego State. He is coming in as the new head coach after Jed Fish took the job at Washington. You know, the big domino effect that happened when Nick Saban retired, which led to Kellen DeBoer moving, Jed Fish moving, Brett Brennan moving, a lot of moving pieces. And so now Colorado gets to face the new, in theory, look of Arizona. So let's look at them. Let's talk about their rank, what they're coming from, and what to expect this coming season. All right, we're looking at an Arizona squad here that's going to be a challenge. Now, they're coming in ranked, based on ESPN, 17th in the country, 16th offensive rank, 37th on the defensive side, with a returning production of 68%, which is 28th in the country. They're one of the top teams returning production, with most of it on the offensive side, 71%. Ranks them at 38th. And then defensively, they're bringing about 66%, which is 41st. So they're in the top 50 quadrant of college football here in D1 right now. And so they've got a lot of things to look at. Now, when Brennan came over, they had an influx of players bounce, but they brought in 27 transfers, which is one of the higher ones in the conference, up there with Colorado, as well as Cincinnati we'll talk about, and then UCF, what we talked about a couple of days ago. So Colorado's got a lot of new, Arizona's got a lot of new players, 15 in their incoming class, so a smaller class, but they've got all those transfers. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered going into this game. But Brett Brennan has done a really good job, you know, where he was at. I mean, he was at San Diego State. He went to 3 bowl games in the last 4 years, something that really hadn't happened much at San Diego State. So we know he can coach. The question is going to be, what is he going to look like here going up against the Buffs in his first time in the Big 12. Now, career coaching-wise, 34-48, so not that big of a winning record. But the good thing for him is he's bringing back the quarterback and wide receiver tandem that were a pain in everybody's butt last year. And, you know, they actually got their cornerback to come back, right? So let's talk about the offensive weapons that they have as well as defense and dive into that component. But first, word from our sponsor. As y'all know, we've partnered up with BetUS for this video. They're the sponsor. We appreciate them. Hooking y'all up 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So you can check them out in the link in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment. They're one of the fastest payouts in the industry, as well as 24/7 personalized service. Even better, twice a year, they're giving you back 10% of your net losses. That's right. We're trying to find a way to keep you up here playing, giving you the opportunity to make that money back. One of the bets, though, that's out here right now is NCAA. We've got a special passing yards leader for 2024-2025. And right now, the leader in the Big 12 is who? You got it. Shedeur Sanders. So the expectation is he's going to probably lead the conference in passing yards. And so at plus 250, that's a number to check out. Now, his opponent, Noah Fafita, who we're going to be talking about now here at Arizona, he's right behind him at plus 350. So I'd take Shedeur because I think that Pat Sherman is going to have that man launching that thing because he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks going in the draft. You may as well show him off. So check out BetUS, link in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment. 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So they're taking care of the people because they know the people like to play. Let's have some fun together. Now, one of the bigger thorns in the Buff side last season, of course, was Noah Fafita. He's probably the one to talk about the most leading coming back. He started the season off on the bench, right? Got the starting job, and man, He was a beast. 72% completion percentage, 2,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, and only 6 picks. He was 7-2 as a starter, right? He gave Oklahoma some blues in that bowl game at the end of it. Oklahoma just gave that away. And so Noah Fafita has shown us that he is here. And even bigger, his wide receiver, Titaroa McMillan, big wide receiver, that's infamous, we call him T-Mac, 90 catches, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns last year, averaging 15 yards a catch. Dude has been a thorn in everybody's side. In his last 2 seasons at Arizona, 129 catches for 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns. He's a terror, and he's going to be one that this defense is really going to have to shift and prepare for because, again, we saw him last year. We saw how he played. We've got to be prepared. And I think that Robert Livingston will be prepared for him in the second, with the secondary and the DBs and linebackers, knowing where to keep him at, because he's going to find a way to get to pockets and get holes and get open. You just got to make sure that you're knocking that ball down. Maybe you even need to have a spy, a particular corner following him everywhere he goes. Can't be Travis Hunter, though, because you need him on the offensive side, too. Even though the wide receiver room is elite, Travis Hunter creates havoc in game planning. So you got to have him there, even if it's just as a decoy, right? But defensively, I think he can definitely step up. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Arizona lost a few players. They lost defensive tackle, was that Bill Norton. The linebacker coach left and went to Texas. The D-line coach went down to Texas. But they did bring back some top players. Tacario Davis decided to stay. He finished second in the Pac-12 last year with 15 pass breakups, and he was a second-team all-conference honors, right? 25 tackles with a pick. He's back. You got Jacob Manu, who's back sophomore year. He led the Pac-12 in tackles. So defensively, they have a very good chance of having a really good defense. The question is how do they execute on that? And so for Pat Shurmur, where he's going to have his hands full is making sure that he doesn't allow Manu to be able to manage the field or be able to keep up with where Shedeur is going to go, right? I mean, he was a first-team all-conference honors, 9.5 tackles for loss. Yeah, remember, man, Arizona have not only McMillan and offensive lineman Jonah, I'm not going to even pronounce his last name, but you got 3 guys on the offensive side of the ball that are Big 12 preseason all-conference guys. Defensively, you got Manu as well as Tacario Davis. So they got 2 guys on the defensive side that's considered all-conference type players. So this is not a team that, like I said, not to play with. It's one that you got to make sure that you don't let them roll and win anything. So I think that the game plan is going to be in this one. At this point of the season, we should have a better understanding of what the Buffs are, and this should be the opportunity to actually run the ball down their throat. You got to get that run game going, and which I think the Buffs will. We'll talk about the running backs later on in the preview from there. But overall, man, ESPN FPI has them sitting at 24th in the country. At Kansas State at 22, they're at 24. So this is where your 2 tough games, you'll lighten up for a week, and then, man, it's going to be a gauntlet at the end of the season with teams that are considered top 30 in the country. So Colorado's going to have their hand full, and I think that Coach Prime and them are ready for it. Deion Sanders is known for playing. He likes competition, so I don't think it's much of a worry. But, hey, let me know what you guys think. Please, hop in the comments. How you think Colorado's going to do up to this point? What's your record prediction up to this point? I'll give you my final record prediction at the end of the series, of the last game against Oklahoma State. You'll have your prediction from me of what I think the team will do. All right. The series is going to continue. Make sure you check it out. You can subscribe here as well as check out some of the other videos from the series on the fall preview. We have a playlist. So pull up. Shout out to BetUS for once again sponsoring this video. 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. They're hooking you up. Get in there. Bet on Shedeur. Bet on Travis. Bet on the Buffs. We'll talk soon.